Last week, I had a conversation with an ex-Microsoft employee that was absolutely wild. We're going to call this ex-Microsoft employee Frank. Now, Frank and I were chatting for some time. Frank had worked for the company for quite a long time and had left in the not too recent past. And Frank was now very much regretting not having screenshotted and download and backed up a mountain of things that he had seen within the company over the last couple of years of his employment there. Because as he said, oh my gosh, quote, Lunduke, you would have a field day, end quote. Now, the things he told me, the stories that he gave me were indeed pretty wild, but believable. Very, very believable. And knowing Frank like I do, Frank's not the kind of guy to make things up. Just the same, the Lunduke Journal doesn't publish hearsay. The Lunduke Journal doesn't publish a story that one guy told to another guy once. The Lunduke Journal publishes facts, verifiable, reproducible, obvious facts. Whether they're leaks from Disney or Microsoft or IBM or Red Hat or whatever. I like to show you guys the real source material. Here's the email from the CEO. Here's the video from the executive. Here's the PowerPoint slide they used to train people. And so I'm calling right now to Microsoft employees, very specifically, if you work at Microsoft or recently stopped working at Microsoft, and you have access to a wide variety of internal systems, I would love to speak with you because there are some things that could use a little sunlight within the Redmond giant, and I would like your assistance doing so. I want to walk you through exactly how to leak things to the Lunduke Journal while retaining your anonymity, while keeping your identity secret and confidential, if that's what you would like. But I also want to say it's not just Microsoft employees that I'm calling out to. There's realistically a number of stories that I'm following up on that could use some additional internal confirmation. For example, the Red Hat and IBM stories continue. We've been leaking stuff from both Red Hat and IBM for, a year and a half now, just mountains of information. I've been told that last week there was a video update from the CEO of IBM sent out to employees regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion changes within the company. And I want a copy of that email. I want a copy of that video. So if you have the ability to get at that video, get a hold of me, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it now. Likewise, if you are inside Microsoft and you have access to anything relating to human relations, the diversity program, and the open source programs within Microsoft, which really cuts across the whole of the company, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you because I've got questions. Now, in general, if you work at a big tech company, if you work at a big technology foundation, whether we're talking Mozilla or the Linux Foundation or Wikimedia or any other things, and you're seeing funky stuff like diversity or political issues, shady business practices or layoffs that are imminent, interesting decisions or announcements, noteworthy corporate training, or just some strange documentation where you're like, whoa, that's weird. Employees or contributors being censored or mistreated in some way, or just other shenanigans and crazy news that you think a light should be shown upon. Reach out to the Lunduke Journal. Questions to ask yourself. Do people use the resources of your organization to organize politically? If so, screenshot those things. Screenshot those chat rooms and the like. Here's some words to look for on your corporate intranet. Diversity, trans, disinformation, misinformation, far right, BLM, on and on and on. You know what I'm talking about here. So if you want to leak information to the Lunduke Journal, here's what you do. Go to lunduke.com. Look down that page. There's a little link right down there on the bottom left-hand side that says Become a Tech Whistleblower. Click that link. That takes you to a simple document that will show you all the ways that you can get in touch with the Lunduke Journal. And realistically, there's a variety of ways, but to keep things simple, I provide 2 easy options. You can send me a direct message over on X, or you can email me, Brian with a Y at lunduke.com. Again, go to lunduke.com and click Become a Tech Whistleblower and go check out the instructions there. I also give you some options for how to set up a nice anonymous email account and the like. Now, how much personal information you divulge to me is entirely up to you. If you want to create an anonymous email account and use a pseudonym, a pen name, and try and keep your identity a secret even from me, absolutely fine. The Lunduke Journal will always respect that. If you want to divulge who you are to me, but keep it secret, not divulge to the rest of the world, also totally fine. However, do not use your work or foundation or organization's email servers. This doesn't normally come up, but it did once kind of recently, so I'm reminding people. Use a private email address, or create, even better, a temporary email address, which could be Proton Mail, Gmail, all sorts of things, specifically for leaking this information. That way stuff doesn't get mixed together. Always a good idea. Now, if you want to send files, like let's say you have access to some really interesting videos or some huge PowerPoint presentations and they're just too big, right? Because small files, no problem. A couple screenshots here and there, some copied text, you can just send those in an email. Again, Brian at lunduke.com. But if you need to send big files, I include instructions on how to use a service called send.viz.ee, which is really a great, completely anonymous, no accounts way to send files. And why this service works really well for this is you can take any file, I believe that's up to 2.5 gigs in size, drop it into send.viz.ee. This is what it looks like. Drop the file in. And once you've dropped the file in, all you do is you have to set how long until the files get deleted, right? So it's number of times download and number of days. My recommendation is set it to, quote, expires after 2 downloads or 3 days. Why that works nicely is because it makes it easy for me to get the files, right? Because 3 days gives me enough time to make sure I download them. If they're really big, sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes the service runs a little slow. And if you grant 2 downloads, that helps me in case it errors out once. I can still go back and try it again. Gives me the chance to get them. But at the same time, it makes sure that those files don't linger around, right? You don't want them hanging around if you're leaking stuff out. So then those all just go away. You can also set a password for the file, which is a totally optional thing to do. It's up to you. No one will see these links. I don't share these with anyone. So if you want to set a file, that's fine. Or set a file password, that's fine. You cannot, also fine. And then email it again, the link to it, to Brian at lunduke.com with that download link. And don't forget the password if you sent one, and I can grab them there. Now, people have been sending all sorts of stuff. Just with the IBM Red Hat links, we had videos from the CEO and emails from inside the company set out to employees, pictures of things posted to bulletin boards. You'd be surprised how many weird things there are along those lines. It's worth noting. Here's a picture of a flyer that was taped to a bathroom door at an IBM subsidiary. It's weird, right? Those sorts of things are interesting to have out there. Full PowerPoint presentations, internal comments on corporate systems, Slack channel conversations. I mean, all of these are interesting things. Whether they're webinars and videos, bulletin boards, slide decks, chat systems, including Matrix, Discord, Teams, Slack, all of it, emails, it's all interesting. And the whole point of this is not to harm companies, right? The whole point of this is that sunlight is the best disinfectant. If you see shenanigans, crazy stuff going on, shining a light on it helps make things better. It gets it out into the world and helps affect change. We've seen that time and time again over the last couple of years, where significant coverage has affected real change within companies. We're seeing that at IBM and Red Hat, and we've seen it at multiple other firms over the last few years. It's valuable to do. And realistically, some of this news is just important to have out there from the public interest point of view. So go to lunduke.com, click on Become a Tech Whistleblower, click that link, follow the instructions, and get a hold of me, especially if you work at Microsoft. Oh my gosh, do I want to verify some of these stories? I need to do it before I can report on them. So get a hold of me so I can start verifying some of these Microsoft stories, because they're just so good. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast.